This book or collection of books was written by many different human authors, inspired and directed by God across thousands of years. What are some golden rules that we need to remember when we read and apply the Bible to ourselves in our generation today?
Yeah, I think one of the challenges that people have is that when they approach the Bible, it's daunting, and I think you look and there's poetry and there's literature and there's history and then there's allegory and there's prophecy, and it can be a little bit confusing. So I think one of the key rules is when you're reading and studying that you have to remember that all of this was written in a context. I think that the word context is so important for students of the Bible, really students of any book of literature, is to understand context. What was God saying in this specific instance to those specific people? And we have to put ourselves into, as R.C. Sproul used to say, he'd said, find the drama, find what's going on in the passage and put yourself in there and see what's going on with those people in that time. So if we understand that God is writing and giving instruction and giving revelation in a context, we have to do the work of figuring out what that context is. And then once we've done that, once we have understood the context of what's actually happening, then we can make application. We can understand and build doctrine, build teaching around that and say, what is God saying about this issue? What does God say in Genesis 1 and 2 about life, about marriage, about family? What is the overarching principle, the teaching? That's doctrine. So once we understand what's going on, what the Bible actually says, we can understand what it means. And then we can see, once we have understand the truth that's coming off the page there, then we can say, okay, now how do I apply this? How do I use this in my own life? Because I can't take, specific verses and specific promises and say, oh, those are written directly to me, because they might not have been written directly to me, but I can draw truth from that. I can apply what's being written for us. And the Bible is very clear that all the scripture is profitable for us. So we just have to do the work of understanding what God intends for us to know and what he intends for us to do. So again, very basic principles of Bible interpretation and application. But the Bible is, even though it's a remarkable book, it's a fantastic book, an amazing, miraculous book. It's also, on some level, very simple, and even children can read it and understand some truth in there. And so I think for the person who's struggling, to be encouraged that the Bible can be understood, it can be known, yet you'll spend the rest of your life delving through the deep mysteries of Scripture.
Yeah.
Hope that's helpful.